Hello dear Crusader Kings III players, I'm Aelle, welcome back to my channel. The new concept of playing a landless character in Crusader Kings III is still something I cannot get enough of. However, the adventure characters that Paradox allowed us to play are very limited. We have only a dozen of adventures for every starting date, and it is not possible to select a random courtier and play directly with it. However, this limited number of characters allowed me to play with very difficult starting characters that for sure were going to force me to abandon my lands and continue as an adventurer. For my luck, they were all in British Isles, so that I can limit the context of this video as the hardest starting characters to play in British Isles. Let us start with the first and the oldest character to play with, Aelle of Northumbria. Aelle was a king of a small kingdom in medieval England during the 9th century. Unfortunately, other than being the brother of a previous king, there are no trustworthy sources defining him or his reign. The most dramatic description of him, however, comes from Norse sagas, which definitely cannot be trusted as a historical source. In the tale of Ragnar's sons, Aelle captures the legendary Norse king Ragnar Lodbrok and kills him by throwing into a pit full of venomous snakes. This angers the sons of Ragnar, and they unleash their anger by invading Northumbria to capture Aelle and avenge their father. According to the tale, during the war, Sons of Ragnar captures Aelle and executes him with the Blood Eagle ritual. This ritual was one of the most terrifying torture methods, in which the victim's lungs were pulled out of their body to create an image of wings and turning the victim literally a blood eagle. Luckily, the historical literary work cannot be a reliable source, therefore such execution methods might not have been carried out. It is even possible that both Ragnar and Aelle and all the other characters in the saga were completely imaginary, except the sons of Ragnar, who were actual historical figures claimed by other contemporary sources. If you're interested in the stories of characters in Viking sagas, you can click the link above and go to my video in which I described Halfdan, Björn, Sigurd, Ivar, who were the sons of Ragnar Lodbrok. So as you can guess, during the Viking invasion of England, King Aelle of Northumbria starts in a war against Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Whiteshirt, whose combined forces sums up to a total of 14,000 soldiers, while Aelle can only raise 1,500 soldiers, which implies a certain defeat and possibly the execution of Aelle himself. However, thanks to the new DLC, you can continue to play as his son even though you lost all your lands to the Vikings, just to take them back whenever you can raise a capable army against them. Before we continue with the second character, could you please consider subscribing to my channel? I'm creating content about strategy games such as RimWorld or Paradox games, and you might find other interesting videos in my channel. Also, if you wish to support me financially and benefit from membership options, you can click to the join button below to obtain badges, ensure your name will appear in the next videos, and access to member-only polls that will decide many things, including the content of the next video. Now we can continue with our second character. This character comes from a bit south and a different century, Earl Edgar of Wessex. Unlike the other characters present in England, this character has a shiny coat of arms, implying his house is a part of a noteworthy dynasty. This house of Wessex was one of the longest established houses in the medieval England, whose history traditionally dates back to the Anglo-Saxon invasion of the 5th century. Chroniclers believed that the ancestor of the house, Cerdic, invaded southern England in 495 with only 5 ships. Then he fought against the Britannic locals and established his settlement in Wessex, which is an acronym of West Saxony, claiming that the invaders were originated in Saxony, today's Germany. Cedric's line became the dominant force in the southern England during the 9th century and kept their power until the Norman conquest. Just before the Norman conquest started, Edward the Confessor, the last king of England from House of Wessex, died due to a series of strokes, and it is claimed that he wanted to be succeeded by his brother-in-law since he had no children. With that decision, the Wessex line terminated being the kings of England, and Earl Edgar was left as the sole male survivor of this old line. That is why he is a great example of someone who lost everything and can start from rags to climb the ladders that their ancestors climbed hundreds of years ago. You can find him in 1066 start in Warwickshire with only 300 soldiers. Since he has only one county and 2 invasions ravaging the country, it is a pretty difficult start. The last character I want to talk about is the overlord of Earl Edgar. Previously, I talked about a brother-in-law who was entrusted to rule the kingdom after the Wessex king Edward the Confessor died. This brother-in-law was Harold Godwinson. Harold belonged to a powerful aristocratic family who ensured their alliances with the Norse kings of Scandinavia through Harold's mother. Also, Harold's sister was married to the English king, making Harold a very powerful noble during his time. In this period, he ruled as an Earl of East Anglia and succeeded both militarily and diplomatically. Of course, by far the most important one of his achievements is claiming the succession of English throne to himself after year 1066. It is very likely that the previous king did not select Harold as a successor, but he claimed it since he controlled his sister and the powerful nobles around him. According to the Norman sources, he got crowned so suddenly to invalidate the claims of previously mentioned Edgar of Wessex. Unfortunately for him, there were many other people who claimed the English throne, and even though Harold gained the de facto rule of England, his reign was far from being secure. In the south, the Normans under the banner of William of Normandy was gathering their army to conquer England since he was a distant cousin of previous Wessex king. In the north, Harald Hardrada, the Thunderbolt of North, started his invasion over the Britain to rule both Norway and England together, just like another Viking king, Knut, ruled decades ago. Between those 2 powerful invasions, Harold Godwinson is not very likely to survive, but he might gain his power again, just like he did years ago as a landless nobility. You can find him in 1066 start while ruling England. Both of the invasions are already started and he needs to fight against 11,000 soldiers combined, which makes him one of the hardest starts in Crusader Kings III. And this was the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching, and please do not forget to subscribe. Also, I love reading your own experiences, therefore do not forget to share your opinion about these characters and other difficult starting options in the comments section down below. For now, goodbye.